Welcome back to another 2D Sunday-ish. Today in Unikronn's gaming, I'm going to be looking at Rastan Saga. I think it was known as Rastan in other places, but in the UK, I just knew it was Rastan Saga. It's a side-scrolling hack and slash. It was developed and published by, was it Taito, in 1987. Apparently it was a commercial success. I didn't know that. I knew that it was popular on the home ports like, Amstrad, Commodore 64, Spectrum, Amiga. Oh, what else was there? Atari ST, stuff like that. And probably the home consoles as well. I think it was the 8-bit systems at the time. So yeah, but oddly enough, I never saw anyone playing this game in the arcades. I just didn't see it. So I didn't know it was that popular at all. It was news to me. It was one of those games everyone knew about, but apart from people with the home ports, I just never saw anyone play this game. So I saw it in the arcades. It was always empty. It was always on the cheapest arcade machine, tucked away in the corner, on the smallest screens. It was only ever 10 pence per credit. It was never the 20p per credit machine. I got a friend called Chowstar. He saw someone at Good Street Casino playing it on one of their multi-machines. And he said that person was really good. One of them savants, they're just one credit person. But unfortunately, I'd never witnessed that. The other person I've ever seen this game being played by is me. Obviously, you've got YouTube and stuff like that. Anyway, we're going to talk about this game and what I think of this game. I played it back in the day a little bit. For this particular episode, I'll be using the Arcade Archives version of the game running on my PlayStation 5. Alright, come on, let's get to it now. So we're just going to start talking about the overall mechanics of the game. It's basically a left to right hack and slash, sometimes right to left. You can jump, you hold down the jump button longer, you can get a higher jump. You've always got your standard Conan sword. Let's face it, he looks like Conan the Barbarian. That's what you default to. You can get power-ups, axes, fire swords, and a mace thingy, which makes you more powerful, but they don't last forever. They're just timed power-ups and shields and other such things. I mean, the power-up system's all right, but it's not the greatest. You should keep them till you get hit. So yeah, if you want to see anything more, just pause on any of these screens and you can read it. So we have to remember that this is an arcade game from 1987, so it's not going to be too deep. The general gameplay is cool. I have to say the sword swing is pretty decent reach. Some of the enemies have just as long reach as you. Some of the flying enemies are a pain, to be honest, to try and hit them. The bats, oh my gosh. I think the bats are used as a time mechanism. When you're taking too long, you get lots of bats, and when they come on you, they drain energy and they slow you down. The bats are a pain in my goddamn ass. But that's not too bad. The jumping is stiff. It's very stiff. The jump arc isn't the best, but you do get used to it, and you know where you can and can't jump. When you're jumping onto the ropes, that's a pain. But luckily there's not a huge amount of that. There's enough so that when you see it, you're like, oh god, and if there's fire pits underneath you, you figure, oh, here we go. Like I said before, the power-up system is actually really good, but you should keep the power-ups until, you die and then go back to your sword. I like the fact that you can hit certain enemy projectiles, but I just don't like the fact that the power-ups have basically limited a certain amount of swings on your weapons and then they're gone. Yeah, that's a pain. I also like the fact that you have an energy bar and it's not one hit death, which is amazing for the time period 1987 that you had an energy bar, and it's a decent energy bar as well. You can take a fair few hits with or without extra shield and cloaking, so that's pretty cool. As you can see here, I took quite a bit of damage there beforehand. Alright, what's going to be next? What can I talk about next? Oh, I know. The general stages. Each stage looks different, set in different times of day. There's a nice variety of stages in the game. Well, variety of looking stages. They don't really do much in their appearance to say that, okay, there's a few jumps, there's a few pits, there's a few spikes. Yeah. At the end of the stages, you fight a boss battle. That's probably the weakest part of the game. The boss battles, I think, are absolutely terrible. Those goddamn bats, those filthy goddamn bats. Sorry, I'm having PTSD from the bats. Yeah, the boss battles are, I think, the weakest point in the game. Yeah, what's saying? The stages look decent. That's fine. There's actually a decent variety of enemies for the first 4 stages, I would say. But then it's just rinse and repeat. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, so, but I still have to give it props. For a game from 1987, it still looks damn good. And let's face it, at this point, everyone was into Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Conan movies and the Red Sonja movies and that period. So yeah, it is what it is. And I think for what they made the game, how they made the game, I think it was pretty cool. And home ports were also pretty cool as well. Okay, sound and music. I don't know what it is about this game, but I think the sound, the background music, even though I believe it's just one soundtrack throughout the whole game, and I think they changed it for the boss battle, I can't really remember. I really like it. It doesn't make any sense, but I really do like the music in the game. I don't know, I just think it just works really well. It shouldn't do. You think it get boring, but it works really well. A little bit twangy, but apart from that, it works really well. The sound effects, I think, are pretty cool, especially when your axe is hitting other metal stuff with a ting, ting, ping, ping. Those sounds all right. The grunts and the ooh, oh, those are pretty cool. Yeah, the sound is good. The sound is good. I think they did well with the sound. So yeah, I'd say that the sound is pretty cool. I believe is there a little bit of speech in the intro? I can't remember. God, I should really watch my own videos back. But anyway, like I said, I like when you die. Oh, yeah. So the sound gets a thumbs up from me, basically. Yeah, good sound. Okay, let's talk graphics now. The sprites, your main sprite that you control, I'm gonna call him Conan. I can't remember what his name is. I don't care. He's blatantly Conan. He's animated quite well. He blatantly is Conan the Barbarian. I mean, just look at him. He looks strong. The sprite stands out from the background. It's a really good looking sprite. As soon as you see him, you know this is Rastan Saga or Rastan. It's not one of these sprites where someone will say, oh, if you know about old school arcade games, someone showed you this sprite, you'd be like, I don't know what this game is. Was it Dungeons and Dragons? Is it a Capcom game? No, you know this is Rastan. So yeah, the sprite is very recognizable. Decent animation. He's a bit stiff at times with some of his animation, but considering this game was 1987, and the only other game I would say that I can think of that looks better than this would have been Rolling Thunder 1. Because that game looked like it was rotoscoped, even though I think someone in my comments told me it wasn't. But still, this game looks really good. Enemy sprites, they also look good as well. It would be nice if there was more of them, but I think their animation is decent as well. Yeah, it's just, I think that the sprite work is pretty good in this game, but I like the fact that you really stand out. He doesn't look too small. The screen, he uses the real estate nicely. It's not like he takes up most of the screen. You can't see where you're going. You know, basically Game Gear Sonic 2. You know, it's just zoomed in so much. You're like, yo, I'm taking jumps off blind faith. There's none of that here. His sprite work is really nice. Enemy sprite work's nice. The bosses and their animations, yeah, they suck a bit, to be honest. But the boss is once again the weakest point in the game. Okay, the backgrounds are nice, I'd say, for the most part. Visually they look different enough. When you're playing them, there's not that much difference. I mean, there's pits, spikes, bits of water, if you touch, you die. Because apparently this hench beefcake buff bastard, or pardon my French, goddamn bats, he can't swim. Perhaps if he let go of the sword, he'd be able to swim, but apparently he can't swim. Yeah, so the backgrounds, they look pretty good. We ain't got no parallax scrolling here. Yeah, that would come later on. I'm assuming maybe part 2 on the Mega Drive had it. I don't know, but parallax scrolling wasn't a thing in this game. So yeah, that would have been nice if it was in there, but it's not. So yeah, overall graphics, I would say pretty good. Intro screen looks nice with it. Yeah, good graphics, especially for the time, recognizable. So yeah, it gets another thumbs up from me for the graphics. Hold on, let me correct myself. It does have parallax scrolling, but I'd like much more of it there. It's only like one layer, really. Foreground and background, that's it. Alright, I corrected myself there. Things I would like them to change for this game. I'd love if this game had a double jump, to be honest. I think double jump would suit this game greatly. The power-up system. If you could have more than one weapon. And then once you die, you lose that weapon, you can go back to the other weapon. Or you can change them at will. That would be nice. And if you could keep the weapon until you die, that'd also be cool if you could have that. Yeah, just little things like that, just quality of life improvements. I think a run would also be cool. A slide would also be cool in this game. If he could, maybe if he's got the flaming sword, if he could diagonally shoot the flames rather than just forward or underneath him. Diagonal would be nice. Diagonal up. That would be cool. Yeah, that would also be nice. Alright, that's about it really. So if you like Rastan Saga, you should play Cybarian, the time traveling warrior. He's also a barbarian. He's also a bit like Conan, but it's a modern day game, because I believe this is on almost all systems. It's even on the PS Vita. Love the PS Vita. Yeah, it's even on the PS Vita. This is obviously PS4 footage running on, I believe, my PS5. This game is also really good. It's not quite the same. Obviously, Cybarian can do a lot more than what Rastan can do in that game. He has better jumps. He's got a roll with invincibility. He's got more attack patterns and stuff like that. It's just almost like an evolved version of what Rastan might be today if it came out. So yeah, it's just, if you like that game, here's this game to play as well. It's pixel graphics as well, so I know some people are really sticklers for that. It's got good music, good hit detection. You can put it on hard and you can get really hard. Good boss battles, which is where Rastan really failed. That Rastan Saga, them boss battles were atrocious. Yeah, it just, considering it came out the same year as Shinobi, and Shinobi had some really decent boss battles. I just don't know what happened there. But this game's got some good boss battles. It's got power-ups, which once you defeat a boss, you get an extra power-up and you keep them. If you want to play New Game Plus with the power-ups, you can only play on the hardest difficulty level. If you try and play on normal, you don't keep the power-ups. You just have to collect everything again like an old school arcade game. So yeah, that's about that. This game also doesn't have the best parallax scrolling. It's more of a 8-bit, you know, like as you can see here, it moves the screen along. I mean, it doesn't need it because it's trying to get that. It's not even 16-bit. Would you say it's a 12-bit aesthetic? Is there such thing as a 12-bit aesthetic? I don't know. But anyway, that's more what it looks like to me. But it's not a detriment to the game. So yeah, I would confidently say you should play this if you have any type of liking for Rastan and you're thinking, oh, you know, I wouldn't mind playing something similar to that again. Yeah, this game is definitely for you. So yeah, just have a I don't know, either butchers at what I'm showing here. And if you like it, go ahead and get the game. I'm sure the developers and the publisher would appreciate it. I believe this is a little indie game. To be honest, aren't they sometimes just the best games anyway? So yeah, and this is just the first boss battle. So spoiler alert. But anyway, yeah, this is the first boss battle. So I'm just showing you this boss battle. And I think that's about enough for me prattling on. Yeah, if you like what you see, if you want to give it a thumbs up, you can do that. If you don't, then you know you don't give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I generally do old school videos or old school arcade games or console games or new games with an old school aesthetic or Metroidvania games. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. If it's not, then cool. Thanks for watching this video. Yeah, that's basically, I think, going to be me. And that's about it, really. There you go. I'll see you in the next video. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.